Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Autumn Acorn Knits. My name is Judy, and this is episode 11. I will put all of the places where you can find me on the video, so I don't have to keep telling you all the places you can find me. If this is your first time joining me, thank you. I hope you like what you see, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you. I don't have a lot of finished objects to show you today. I have one finished object. I have some yarn dyeing to show you, and then I have an acquisition and some finished, not finished, but works in progress. I can't seem to talk this morning. It is Friday, May 11th? I think, yeah, it's May 11th. I know that because our local ice cream shop is opening today, so Joe and I have been waiting, and we're super excited to go down to Moose Scoops, it's called, and get an ice cream cone later on. So why don't we get started with finished objects. So I only have one, and it's not knitting related, but I do have a lot of hobbies. So, and one of them is needle felting. So I make dryer balls, and I sell them in my Etsy shop, the Autumn Acorn. And I had to make an order for someone, so I figured why not keep going. So I made a bunch. I had some fall colored wool roving that I used. So here are some of the colors. There's some more. I like to do these swirly ones where I needle felt these designs in them just to make them a little more interesting. They don't work any better in the dryer, but I think they look pretty. The color doesn't really matter either. I make a lot of them in just natural white or cream colored roving. Sometimes I'll throw in a little color just for fun and just to make laundry more interesting. And what you do is you want to take a safety pin, a metal safety pin, and you want to pin it onto your ball, 1 or 2, maybe even 3. That will help with static. And then you want to take your essential oil. So here's some called Abundance, and you would just I like to put on maybe 5 drops or 6, and then throw it in the dryer with your clothes. And this way you're not using all the toxic chemicals from dryer sheets, and then those chemicals tend to hang around. So as long as you can smell that Downy or whatever your Snuggle or whatever you're using, then you're inhaling those chemicals, and they are so bad for you. So you can throw in, I don't know, 4 or 5 of the dryer balls, and they actually cut down on drying time too, because they move around and they make the clothes kind of not all stick together, and they just make your clothes smell better, and then not as going to be as good as dryer sheets, but you at least won't be breathing in or putting all these chemicals on your family's clothing. So it's well worth it. I will never use a dryer sheet again, or Downy fabric softener, any of those, as long as I live. Once I figured out what how bad they are, I'm like, nope. So that's my only finished project. Work, and I know this is a recurring theme, but work has been really, really nuts, and other things have come up, and they're not getting better. They're not getting better. So I've actually been having to do a lot of the teaching, which has been really fun, and it just doesn't allow time for anything creative, or at least not a lot of creative things. So I apologize for that. I know this is a knitting podcast, but something else that I have finished just yesterday was another yarn dyeing project. You may have seen some of my projects from the last episode that I was working on, I've been experimenting with food coloring and dyeing using either the microwave or the stovetop. I had 3 bare hanks of 80% merino, 20% nylon, fingering weight yarn, sock yarn that I wanted to dye, and I was shooting for a speckled look. I looked at a tutorial on YouTube, and they were using the little pipette eyedroppers, and they were holding the pipette with the dye from about a 3-foot height and then dropping it onto the prepared wet yarn, and it was making sort of a splatter effect or a spotted effect, which is really popular in yarns these days, and I really like it. So I went outside, and Joe and I were kind of just playing around with some blues and trying to figure out the right shade of blue, and that in itself was really hard, but thought we came up with one that I liked, and I started to do this drop process on one of the hanks, and at first I thought it looked right, and then I wasn't so sure, but it was kind of too late, because I wanted a sweater's quantity, so I ended up dyeing 3 hanks. When I got to the 3rd hank, I ran out of the shade of blue that I'd been using, and I was in a hurry, and I didn't want to wait, and I ended up dyeing one of them a different color than what I really wanted it to be. So it's more of a jeans or a denim blue, whereas the other ones were a brighter, more aqua blue. But anyway, here they are, all dried up and in hanks. And I think it's pretty obvious which one is not the one that matches the other 2. So if you can't see, it's this one in the middle that has more of that denim blue rather than this. There's also some of the aqua, but the other 2 hanks have mostly aqua and pretty much no denim or very little denim blue. This one too is just a lot of aqua. Every so often though, I guess I must have thrown on another shade because you can kind of see it working its way through. Anyway, I don't think it's a total loss, but it's not speckled. It's going to probably be more of a variegated effect when I'm finished. I still think it will look pretty. It's just I really wanted to perfect the polka dot look or speckled look. So if any of you have any ideas or suggestions on some ways that I can do that, I would really appreciate it. If you just could leave a comment even on the podcast or reach out to me privately and let me know. I am looking for the most foolproof way and just some creative ways. My cousin Jess had mentioned maybe hanging them and then using like a child's squirt gun and then kind of squirting the dye on, which I thought was a really creative and interesting idea. And I will be teaching at her. She has a maker's camp. It's an old Airstream, and I talked about this last summer. I taught a knitting class there, and it was so much fun. She just has this old Airstream that we invite people in and teach different arts and crafts classes. So I plan to teach a dyeing class, and I'd like to teach an adult version and a child's version. And I thought the child's version, it would be so much fun to get a bunch of squirt guns and just let them go to town with different dyes. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, if you have any ideas on how I can speckle dye, I would really like to learn, so thank you. Appreciate that. In the past, I have written quite a few patterns. And one that was really popular was for my Seabrook shawl. And I'll show you. There's a picture of it. It's a very simple pattern, and it's both knit and crochet. So this section here, the main body, is knit, and I'm not sure if you could see this right here, but this border, and it goes up to this button, is crochet. So you do have to know how to do both knit and crochet to be successful at this pattern. It uses Lion Brand Wool Ease in a worsted weight yarn. I use the color Sea Spray for the sample, and it uses size 8 straight knitting needles, although you could use circular. I just wanted it to be a very simple, straightforward pattern, and I figured a lot of people have straight knitting needles. I've just started to keep mine in a jar. Those are the metal ones, and I have a lot of really antique knitting needles. And then I have these wooden ones in another jar, and it's just so much easier. I used to have them in like an actual straight knitting needle case that I had to take out each time I need it. I really love the way they look. They're decorative, and they're just handy when I need them. They're right there. So anyway, I digress. So this pattern was really popular, but I wanted, since I'm now so interested in fingering weight yarn or sock weight yarn, that I wanted to try to revise this pattern, adapt it to use smaller knitting needles and much lighter weight yarn. So I didn't want it to be the exact pattern, only revised for that size. I really wanted it to maybe have a different design. So I took another pattern that I had written for my other Etsy shop called Prop Shop, which is all baby things, and I found my horizontal dash pattern. So it's a really, again, a simple pattern using pearls and pearl stitch and knit stitch, but it gives it a really interesting texture. So I'm designing I'm back. I was having like the worst tickle in my throat, so I'm just having some water. Okay, that's better. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to just combine the two patterns and design an entirely new pattern. So that's what I'm doing. I haven't gotten very far again. Work has gotten in the way. But I did put this on my Instagram feed too. And I'm using some of my hand-dyed yarn. And this is sort of what it's looking like so far, which isn't much at all, I know. But I am pretty happy with the way the yarn is knitting up. Again, all of my yarn dyeing is experimental. I really don't know what I'm doing. So many of you have asked me if I'll be selling my hand-dyed yarns, and I'm not laughing at you, honestly. I am so grateful that you even like it, but I just don't feel ready to do that. I don't feel like it's good enough or as good as I'd like it to be, and I just really, I don't know. I keep saying I don't know. If I do decide to, though, I know for sure the only way that I would be comfortable selling my own yarn is if I did it in sort of one-of-a-kind batches. So if I dye up maybe 5 skeins for a shawl and sell it as one-of-a-kind, this is all there is of that, but release it sort of very, very limited quantities. So perhaps I'll do that, but I just am not sure. Here's the yarn in a ball. Greens, very pale colors. I dyed this around Easter time, pale purple, pale pink, and pale green, and then I did leave some of the white as well. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it's working out. This is the back, you can tell, and the front again. And I'm just using my vintage straight needles that I've had since the beginning of time. So that is a work in progress based on 2 old patterns. So they are still available in my Etsy shop if you're interested in either of those patterns. I have not done a lot on my Aura shawl by Caitlin Hunter. So pretty though. This is a paid-for pattern that I talked about last time. I may have gotten a few rows done, but yeah, I don't think you're going to be impressed with my progress so far. But I can just give you a quick glance so you can see that I did get a few more rows done. And I just think it's going to be so pretty. Now this is pretty speckled, and I did not dye this, but obviously the woman who did knows what she's doing, unlike me. Knit Coast Fibers. She's figured it out. I have not yet, but we'll see. I do plan to do some natural dyeing in the summer. I'm really excited about that. That should be fun. So that's that, and then I have shown you in my last episode this project, which was using my hand-dyed worsted weight fisherman's wool in this pink and green color. And again, another where I'm designing my own pattern. This is the back of the sweater. Not much to see here. I had already started the front right panel. I had to tear it all out because it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. So again, work in progress. I'm sure I'll want to be working on this again really soon because it's been some time and I miss it. It's so much fun. This is the crochet along that I'm hosting in Ravelry. It ends on May 31st. But there's still plenty of time to join because you don't have to have a finished blanket. Just, you know, have started your Hydrangea Stripe Blanket. You can find the pattern on Attic 24. It is such a simple, such a mindless, such a pretty pattern. And I am using up all of my scrap sock yarn and then minis that I had purchased on Etsy, as well as minis that I've dyed. So there's so much different yarn in this, but it's just been the most fun. I started to work on this little ball, this mini that I had ordered last night, and it was so fallish. I love it. It's just like every time you knit a stitch, you've got a new color to play with, so it's so much fun. But let me show you what I have so far, and I can actually this time show you how far I've gotten because I did put a progress keeper on my work, if I can find it. Yeah, it's down here. So yeah, I've gotten a lot done. Here is probably what I worked on yesterday. It was from about this green stripe up. And it has so many colors. So yeah, I've got about, I don't know, this much more. So that's a lot of yarn. I hope I finish by the 31st of May. I will definitely be drawing a winner on the 31st of May. So all you have to do is really comment, post pictures of your progress in the Ravelry group, and then I will be drawing a winner and announcing that. So really, really fun. If you have any questions, I talk a lot about this crochet along in my other podcast episodes, so check those out. There's even one dedicated exclusively to the crochet along, and it shows all of the amazing prizes. There's yarn, there's a project bag, there's a knitting needle cozy, and some progress keepers and stitch markers. So it's a really nice prize package. So yeah, that has been going well. I'm also working on my knit crate April box. So Knit Crate is a monthly subscription service that I am an affiliate partner with. I'm just learning about the company. They have sent me so far 2 months for free for me to review, and I did devote an entire podcast video to reviewing Knit Crate and the first subscription box that I received. And the first one that I received had this beautiful yarn in it called Red Rock. The name of it was Golden Hour, and I chose, it comes with one knitting pattern and one crochet pattern, and I chose the knitting pattern for this beautiful Chloris shawl, which should be an easy quick knit. I just have been taking my sweet time on it. This is how far I've gotten so far, and I'm so happy that the color has changed to this deeper red because I really like that deeper red. But I honestly have just not gotten very far in it, and I've already gotten my second Knit Crate box, which I will show you. And I end up doing a video review on it, but it's so pretty. It just came yesterday and I was pretty happy. It's honestly like my birthday every month now that I get this. And inside you receive always 2 skeins of beautiful wool and a knitting and crochet pattern. So for this one, there's this pretty cowl or shawl. I'm not even sure. I haven't yet gone to the link for the pattern. Just looked at the picture and decided that's the one I'm making. And then this was a crochet pattern for some sort of a clutch or a purse, but I wasn't as interested in that one as I was in this one. And I said this last time, but it really forces me to go out of my comfort zone for yarn colors because I tend to just have really a hard time picking colors, or I always pick the same colors. And this color is a really pretty, like almost like newsprint color. Probably wouldn't have chose it. There's the designer, La Brebis. I think they feature a new yarn designer, yarn dyer every month. We'll see how this one goes, but I will, like I said, I'll do a review on it and work on the project and let you know more about it later. I have an acquisition. So, what did I received a message the other day on Etsy from JH. Her name is Joanne Halpin from JH Cards on Etsy. Here is her business card, which is a really cute little square business card. I just purchased some square business cards myself. I'll try to remember to show you later. But anyway, this is her information, and she makes the most beautiful greeting cards by hand. And I won her monthly drawing. She does a monthly drawing, and I won, and I was so excited. So yeah, so she sent me this little thank you card, and she told me I could go on her site and pick out any box that I wanted. And they were valued at between $32 and $42. So I'm like, of course, thank you. I never win anything. I was so excited. But it was really hard to choose because her shop, it really has an old-time vibe, which I love, an old-time feel. Her cards are so beautiful. They are little pieces of work. Each one is like a piece of art. But I couldn't choose. I ended up with like 4 that I wanted. I wanted them all. I ended up going with Nest Egg. And so I'll first show you how they came. There they are in this heavy-duty plastic case, and nothing, everything was very, very safe and not crushed. And then, so here is the greeting card. This is raised, so it's got some dimension to it. And these beautiful eggs, and they all have the name of, I think the name of the type of bird. There's a robin egg, there's a blue throat, the black-throated, the dipper, and the black red start. And then she does, you could tell she does some pencil, coloring. She colors that with pencil. And then on the inside, it's plain, so you can write your own message. And on the back, she puts her little sticker, her little label, which is neat. Then the envelope is just as beautiful. The inside, again, has the eggs, and the back flap has that pencil, almost like watercolor pencil, eggs. So such a beautiful set of cards. I'm not sure if I'll be able to use them because they're so beautiful. Maybe in time. I like to save things when I first get them and just look at them, and I'll put them on a shelf or something. But thank you so much, Joanne. I am so thrilled I won, and I just love your shop. So I believe Joanne gave me a coupon code. I will have to look that up, and I will put it here down below if she didn't. I didn't imagine that. So yeah, pretty awesome. What else? Oh, just some general chatter now. I spent some time in Connecticut last weekend. I got there on, was it Thursday? I was supposed to leave at noon, and my car in New Hampshire, we have to have our cars inspected every year, and my car was due, and I realized, well, I've got to get it in. So the only appointment I could get was Thursday, so at noon. So I was just going to leave right after. I figured it would take about an hour, if that. Well, there was something wrong with my front brakes, and so what was supposed to be about an hour ended up being about 5 hours, and a lot of money and a lot of stress, and I was just really upset. I didn't handle it very well. Have you ever had that happen where you're like, I am acting like a child right now. I'm having a hissy fit for no really good reason. Well, I had a good reason, but I had no self-control. I cried. I literally cried. I got angry. I wasn't myself. Joe was so patient with me, get me through it though. He's like, it's gonna be okay. I'm like, I don't want to drive at night. It's stressful enough driving 4 hours. The drama. It was just the drama. Anyway, I got there about 8 o'clock that night, and just in time. Kelly had just gotten home from work, and so it was fine. And then the next day I got to spend the entire day with baby Charlie, my granddaughter, and we had so much fun. She's amazing. I know I say that every time, and I'm not going to go on and on and on, but I'll put a little footage in here so you could see just how much she's growing. I get to go back again at the end of this month for an anniversary party, and then again 2 weeks after that for a sleepover. So Charlie and I are going to have a girls' sleepover while her mom and dad go to a wedding. So pretty cool. I can't wait. Excited. Tomorrow, Joe and I are going to 2 sheep and wool festivals in New Hampshire. Did I write down the names of them? Of course not. I know Compakuk is one of the names of the towns. I apologize. I forgot both names, but I found one of them on Google, and then Joe found the second one, and the second one actually sounds even better than the first one, so I'm excited. The weather's supposed to be a little questionable. I think it's going to be chance of rain in the afternoon, so we'll get there early. We'll go to the first one. It's about an hour and a half away. We'll stay for an hour and a half or two. Go to the second one, which is another 45 minutes or so from that one. Spend another hour or two, and then we may end up going to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, to one of our favorite seafood restaurants that's there. So it's going to be a full day. I'm hoping to buy some yarn for a new top that I've already made, and then I want to make another one, but I need a DK weight yarn, And then I'm hoping to buy some yarn for my mom for Mother's Day because she just got back from Florida. She's been there all winter, and I'm going to see her this week, and it would be really fun to surprise her with some new yarn for Mother's Day. So that's our plan. Yeah, I think it should be fun. Also, I have been getting a lot of questions about learning how to knit. So a lot of viewers are just starting. They just bought their yarn, they bought their needles, and they really want to learn the basics. So I'm always sending them to other sources to learn to knit, other knitting videos that I've enjoyed. And I thought, you know, why not just do my own series? So Joe's going to help me with the filming because it's a little trickier when you're filming a how-to video, but I want to do a series of knitting videos and perhaps in the future crochet videos on just the basics, how to cast on, how to do the knit stitch, how to do the purl stitch, how to bind off, and then maybe get into some fancier stitches too after I see how this goes. So you can look forward to that if you don't know how to knit. I'm assuming most of you that are here do know how to knit and crochet, but you never know. Maybe you're just interested in yarn. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. It's a beautiful day today. It's sunny. The snow is finally gone. Believe it or not, it just melted. Yeah, and it's May. And I'm going to be probably mowing the lawn today and blowing the leaves off because it needs it. It's time. And just enjoying the weather before I have to go back to work again on Monday. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. I know this is a short episode. I apologize for that. Like I said, I haven't been doing a lot of knitting. I hope for the next episode that I have more. I really am going to try to be filming every week. I really want my YouTube channel to grow. This is so much fun for me. I get such positive feedback and I'm enjoying it. So I would like to be able to reach more of you. If you did like this video, one of the ways that YouTube will show it to other people is if you subscribe and like the video and comment. So again, if you know anything about speckled yarn, I'd love some more suggestions. If you just want to ask a question, I will answer it on the next podcast if you ask here. And I hope that you get to do lots of crafty things and enjoy time with your family. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
You tell everyone what you think of your garden vegetables. Do you want more?
These are tiny.
Where would the goat? You want to go out? Want to go look at the other animals? What do you think, Mom?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Mommy.
Oh, look at the baby.
It looks like other children want to return. We should go out again and give Daddy Rocky some flowers.
I'm gonna stay for the
Charlie, you like the goats? Go see them?
Hi, Gooey. You happy girl?